In 1954, my mother was 16 and started her first job as a waitress at a local restaurant. If you talk to 16-year-olds today and ask them what their first job is, they're likely to tell you it's something in food service or retail. Those jobs are great as long as you live in 1954, but they're not giving teens today the skills they need to compete in a technological future, and they're also not allowing companies to connect with their future workforce. Hi, I'm John Bevel, co-founder and CEO of GIGAPULT, a brand new category in work technology. Meet Luis. Over the past 8 months, I've had the chance to get to know Luis and 19 other high school juniors and seniors just like him in Phoenix, Arizona. Luis is currently doing virtual gig work for companies in Salt Lake City and San Francisco, work that challenges him and gives him the opportunity to apply his skills to real-world settings. He loves the flexibility, autonomy, and control gig work allows for his lifestyle as he manages schoolwork. In his words, high school students just want to learn and work. If you give them the opportunity to do both, they'll hop on it any chance they get. Here at ASU GSV, we're celebrating learning and education. All of us agree that it has a profound impact in our lives. And all of us also agree that every student deserves the best opportunities. But let me ask you, how many of you in your organizations currently employ high school students? Statistics show that the number of teens working in the United States has declined by 50% since the year 2000. Those that are working are doing jobs that are not giving them the skills they need to succeed in the future. Now, there are a lot of reasons why we don't employ teenagers. First off, they're in school 8 hours a day. Second of all, they might have not access to a car to get from school to work to home. But ultimately, I think we're concerned about the qualifications, asking ourselves, what can a high school student really do that can add value to my organization? As we look at changes that are happening on the employment landscape, the question isn't, do you employ high school students? The question is, can you afford not to? Forbes reports that by 2020, there'll be roughly 1 million computing jobs that will go unfilled. There's a retiring workforce that you cannot stop, and there'll be more people doing freelance jobs and on-demand jobs, and if your organization doesn't have the infrastructure to tap into that, you will lose. The good news? This year, it's expected there'll be 6.8 million high school juniors and seniors in the United States. That's an untapped resource that if you're forward-thinking as an organization, you can engage with now before anyone else does. At GIGAPULT, we believe that the solution is in the gig economy. So let's talk about that. Many of us have heard of companies like Uber, Lyft, Airbnb. They're wonderful, and they're opening up opportunities for many people to engage in a side hustle, to save up for that big ticket item. But they're leaving high school students behind. Even to deliver someone's coffee on Postmates, you have to be 18. To complicate matters more, the US Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that there's no concise definition as to what a gig is or the gig economy. So that's where we started. A GIGAPULT gig is a virtual piece of work that is greater than a task, but smaller than a project. Our platform creates value by connecting high school students who want to do work with organizations who need work done. In the center, we accelerate learning and growth in a cycle that allows high school students to repeat, to pivot, to learn where they have gaps, and for organizations to connect with their future workforce. Now, you might ask, okay, so there's some freelance platforms already out there. What makes your organization different? 3 key areas. First, we've standardized the language of work into gig categories, first and foremost in research and writing categories, things that high school students can do. Second of all, our platform works as a dynamic and growing resume. As a high school student challenges themselves through more gigs, learns new things from their classroom studies or somewhere on the internet, they're able to add that to their profile, indicating that they have interest and or ability in a particular area. Finally, GIGAPULT is a try before you buy, a way for organizations not only to say, gosh, there's a skills gap, but now there's a solution that I can close that gap by developing skills in the students that will be my future workforce. For students, the value is immediate. They can see what they're learning in class has a direct impact in the real world, that what they're learning has value to organizations. They're not going to Chick-fil-A and Taco Bell to get their first jobs. They're getting their first job experience at your organization. For companies, it gets down to the numbers. On a conservative estimate, the cost to fill one vacancy within the average company is $20,000 to find one person. What if you had that $20,000 and you gave it to hundreds of high school students to do hundreds of gigs, and now you have hundreds of data points that you can draw upon when that vacancy is open in your company, that you know are proven because they've actually done real work for your companies. That's what GIGAPULT is doing. Our team is made up of 3 people with over 30 years of experience in the areas of freelance, small business ownership, technology and technology consulting, management consulting for companies like Gallup, and higher ed experience. We know that the world of work is dynamically changing, and a solution needs to be simple. So we started out with an alpha. 8 months ago, we engaged 20 high school students at Metro Tech High School in Phoenix, Arizona, students who were hungry, willing, and ready to try something new. We worked with them one Saturday a month to determine what gigs they could do and what gigs they wanted to do. What was a good job to them? Because if we didn't have those answers, we wouldn't be able to grow. We then connected them with companies in Salt Lake City like ProPay, Interim CMO, which is located in San Francisco. And together, we were able to implement a successful experiment that shows there is value in connecting companies to high school students. As we look at the next 6 to 8 months, we have an aggressive growth schedule. We have 1,000 students that are ready to get on the platform. As we offer more gigs, we're looking to engage with more companies, to expand past the research and writing categories into more tech categories as well. Ultimately, we're looking to build a beta that we will launch later on in 2019 that will have the automated features that will allow ease of access for both employers and students, especially allowing students to level up, because high school is just the starting spot. Those students who are 16 today will grow. They'll go to college. They'll be that 21-year-old college graduate that you are trying to compete for their attention on college campuses across the United States. If you already have a relationship with them, you've won. The good news is you can get involved. If you are a forward-thinking leader within your organization and you see that there's a direct application to getting involved now, we need to talk. If you're a school administrator who's searching for answers on how to get your students engaged, get them working, get them the experience that they need, this is for you. Up until this point, GIGAPULT has been self-funded, and we are looking for the right investor who can bring in the resources to take us to the next level. The next time someone asks you, do you employ high school students? If you're on the GIGAPULT platform, you can say emphatically, yes, I do. I actually give a gig. Thank you.